grew up with all these folks, went to school with these folks. Like I knew all of my brothers, you know. So whether things happen in business, that doesn't mean you want to make sure that things happen properly as they should in business, so they don't mess up your personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like to your point, like you said, Jonathan. You know what? Little do they know, like we're still moving ahead as planned. What you want to just hedge against is festering negative energies because that nobody is susceptible of that on this planet, and you have to kind of be aware of it too because we never want to let our egos mess up something that, like, you know, I'd rather not even have done this than to actually lose any one person over a disagreement, argument, or some stupid shit like that. And we are not there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, but I definitely had like some of my advisors like take a look at the scenarios and such and everything. Even one of my advisors said, "Hats off to you two with Kenya and Jonathan." Because you mentioned something, so you were like two major players in a group, and it's true, major players as far as input. However, my mentor, you know, looked and he was like, "Well, you know, that's great approaching calls on a weekly basis, but you know, it seems like to me that so far it's like, you know, not to say that everybody doesn't contribute, but he was like the intersection is actually there with Jonathan and Sakenya right there because it's not to say that Evan doesn't do anything or Mario or all of that, but it's like the things that are being done between the conference calls. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, you know, in that regard, I think we're doing great. Things still move according to plan. I mean, if anything, um, people are always in a happy state. You know, like it's not like, well, one thing that would make me feel worse is if someone was like, you know, fuck Sneakyhead the idea altogether. Every single person is like, nah, I'm still here. I just really want to fuck with the general and the kicks request and that's cool. I think that's awesome and that's a beautiful thing because that's a testament of who we are and the stuff that we've been through. What do you think, Sakenya?
Yeah, I mean, like it's cool that like they still want to be like involved, but maybe like their vision of it isn't the same way as like the way it's going, which is cool. I mean,
And
what
and
about you,
it's
like,
unexpected. I mean, we are doing a lot of pivoting, and you know, it's more that we're pivoting because we see opportunity, and if that opportunity doesn't align with what people wanted, you know, wanted personally for the opportunity, that's okay. Because what would suck is if they were a part of something that they didn't believe in.
yeah, exactly.
Like that's slavery. You know what I'm saying? That's mental and emotional slavery. It's like that whole, well, you know, I kind of want to tell somebody about something, but they're my girlfriend, wife, brother, husband, son, whatever. So I'm just gonna hold it back from 'em. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Awesome. So I know we had some things that we wanted to do this past week as far as an update on my side. I need to pair with Noel to wrap up the profile integration. Was thinking about doing it from the Slack, but I said the MVP, the minimum viable product was, you know, because I don't know as much about Slack integration as Noel. But what I did do was spent a bunch of time, especially over the past weekend with Robert, on developing a system that allows us to store. Hold on, let me go in here and look at it. Oh, let's see here. Share my screen with it. I promise you, you won't have to look at code too long. Sneakyhead, there it is. So we have that. We got a pull request, our profile. Right. We have the ability to store. There we go. Nice. Those are profiles. We have the ability to store um, size, phone number, size and phone number. So going from most important to the least important. We have their credentials, their username and password, size, and phone number, and the username is to be an email address. So at minimum, I think that's the absolute minimum that we can take from someone to actually do something and like gather stuff like, you know, shoe size. So with the shoe size, we know what size they are. That's critically important, I would say. The phone number, um, which is a method of communication and can be used as a method of security, and their credentials, which is their username, preferably an email and a password. Um, that's the minimum, quote unquote, I say profile. But then also we can collect the name. We're going to collect their credit card, which I don't like at all, actually. But while we've been like copping shoes thus far, like we've been kind of keeping this more as an internal tool.
Yeah.
So when we collect people's credit cards, because what happens is it's a fucking shit show, and even for Jonathan, Jonathan knows how much of a shit show it is. If anything, he does the most when it's like, oh, it's an hour before release, and you're trying to round up new names and put them in spreadsheets. We got people's credit card information with their CVV code. Just not that it's not secure because it's in our Google apps, but this is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
There's been times months ago that I hit up Jonathan like at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, just like, yo, man, we gotta help me round up these names and numbers and stuff like this. That is the reason why we're doing it. And that's the problem it solves. We can also store billing information, which we need to know to make a purchase for them, and shipping information, which we need to know to get things to them. So that's a profile. Now, what it's missing is it's missing the actual integration piece into Slack, which probably takes an hour or so. And I'm going to work with Noel on that, but he's just been busy with his day job the past handful of days because we had a major release on Thursday that we were at for our event that we talked last time. I feel confident that after pairing with Noel, that we can get it integrated into Slack. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm just creating like a little HTML form that, to be honest with you, like kill all the website noise. Like I'll throw a Sneakyhead logo and that form up on there to collect people's profile. And how about that? Like I can care less about looking unprepared. What I do care about is putting tools out into the world that people can actually use and really save them time. Like the blog posts and all of that, that's all great. And yes, I do think it's a great idea and we should do it. And, so Kenya, you have that resource there. Like I'm saying, drive full steam ahead as far as you can with that. Because, if we put out a post like something that, like put out a post once a week, I think it's more of an internal goal than it is for externally for other people. Because people, they'll read blog posts, but let's be real, Sakenya. You prefer to go to J20, the jump, or the Unlaced app, get your information and bounce. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that said, I think a blog is a valuable component, and I think that's what everyone else agreed on, and I think we should still continue going in that manner. We now know we got some fires, so one fire. We need to edit some content. I think that taking the content down wasn't my decision. I would have left it up, but Noel just made an executive decision and took it down just to because we still respect requests of people.
Yeah.
Now that said, it shouldn't stop us to have Cisco, and I hope you got your ears on, Jonathan. But Cisco is Sneaker Shouts' content manager. He's the one. He told us that when we were at the meet and greets, and that's why those meet and greets are so important. Correct, Sakenya. You know what I mean? And he told us that at the meet and greet. So I have empathy for the founders for not wanting to have something up that's like not spell checked or corrected and all of that. But I have zero sympathy for a person not being able to spell check something that they wrote. Because, I'm not sitting there asking you to be Edgar Allan Poe, but treat it as if it's a paper you got to hand in for college.
I mean,
What do you say?
Like we all went to college. I mean, we had to we didn't have anybody to spell check. I mean, Snugs probably did because you had a whole bunch of broads.
You know I did, my Negro.
This Negro.
He ain't lying, Jonathan.
Well, I'm saying, we grown. I mean, if you write something, I mean, at least send it through spell check and grammar check.
And not only that, how about this? Send it through Cisco. That's why I said I don't have sympathy at all, and that's a business thing that has nothing to do with personal. When you got a dude in there that is responsible for all of the content on a site that already has 250,000 followers, now 300,000, almost 1/3 of a million followers, and he is one of the writers for said site, and he's sitting around asking, like, I'm trying to see where I can help out, but I don't know where I can. That's a personal problem.
So yeah, I mean, like I still think that like is Noel going to be acting as like webmaster or like
Well, define what webmaster is, or like I think what I hear you saying is there's going to be things that we need to do that um, that say, or I think what we're defining the situation, Sakinya. This is great. That's exactly what we're doing. Remove Sakinya and Noel out of the picture. We need to specify roles instead of people.
yeah.
So roles are usually because something needs to be done because there's either a feature or a problem that needs to be fixed or created. So let's take it on a per case instance. In this situation, is it the fact that there's someone who has content and there's another person who and overall there needs to be some sort of final thing. Let's define what it is, and then we figure out what the roles are, and then we could talk about who's going to do what. So I guess really to approach it from what does the final look like. So maybe, and that's something that you can contribute in. And honestly speaking, that's exactly where you contribute in, Sakinya. So you might sit there and be like, oh, well, this thing, you want to push this over here and move that there, or that needs to be updated or something like that. Now we know, okay, we got a role for somebody that needs to be able to update a website. We got a role for somebody that needs to update content. Now let's go in the pool of 50 people that we have and see if there's somebody in there that can do that. And I bet you 9 times out of 10 there will be. So
I mean,
I guess what I'm saying is let's think of it more of a task-based thing than you are the guy that does that thing all the time. Does that make sense?
yeah. I mean, like I think let's like my only question would be like the point of accountability. Like
Of
if we
course.
make it like a task based thing and we just shoot it out there for some whoever wants to grab it. I mean, like so then if we needed to do again, I mean, like who? I mean, are we just like keep shooting it out there? I would feel more comfortable if like this one person say, "Boom, this is your job," instead of
Absolutely. And you know what? You do that from within Trello. So what you say, so there's something that needs to be changed or updated. Find the person in the list of members and you add them to that card, thus assigning it to them. It's really that easy, Sakinya.
so like. I mean, I guess my thing is that like I don't know like the skills of like the 50 people that we have in Slack and like if that's what these people are like they joined it for to be a part of a working group or like they came
Yes.
for the
That's
tick or
slow.
what.
That's what's been happening. I'd say now it's 50-50. There are some people in there, like, don't get me wrong, they still fuck with kicks, but they're in there for just to be around the people that they keep hearing about to experience. So um, that's a great statement. Well, I don't know who's doing what. Guess what? We don't want to bottleneck that number. We want the number to continue to grow. Who's going to be the person you're going to want to pair with or do, say, a Pomodoro with, a time box of like 20, 30 minutes? You're on the phone with them right now, and it ain't me.
All right.
Because overall, Jonathan behind the scenes, he's doing things like going through different channels, seeing what people's requests are. If it's too detailed of a request, he tosses it over to Julia because he's got other things to do. Like the system's already set up.
All right. I mean so I guess like Jonathan, what person do you think will be the best person for the job to handle like web design and web design issues?
Mm, good question. Man, I mean, there's so many people that are in here. It's just like, what are their time? What's their time looking like? To be honest.
I mean
Well,
I mean that's what it
first I
comes down
think
to
you could
us.
first define who's, and then we can ask them questions like, "What's your time like?" Trust me, we are in a situation where we can make things very uh, attractive to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't worry so much about that as I would kind of from your end, Jonathan, understanding what people are kind of good at, you know. So like for instance, one thing I know, Tim is fucking awesome at web design and stuff like that. Would I trust him like designing certain aspects of the site? Clearly, you see from Kitten's play, which Sakenya hasn't really gotten in depth with about. He's a freaking rock star in that regard, right? Yeah,
Oh
as
yeah.
far as him getting and updating sites, like taking said designs and then implementing them, putting them up on servers and all of that stuff. I do not trust him in that regard. That's something that's more along the lines of what Noel does or a Lizzie or something like that.
That means that maybe there might need to be two webmasters or
Yeah, and
just
that because
a team of webmasters. How
well,
about
what
that?
you think of it as at the end of the day is that you start once you start looking at it like that's a Kenya, you start shedding the dated term of webmaster. That I'll just throw that out there. We don't kind of use that terminology anymore, but that's okay. You don't know what you don't know. Um, Now the roles like technology's gotten so detailed. Like there's people who just specify an application development on a device for Chrome for like, oh, this person's got an Android device. I'm going right to Daniel, Robert's brother, because he's the one person in Sneakyhead that knows how to build apps on an Android device. And, is he building for the web? Absolutely. Would he be a master of building that? For sure. But I wouldn't really quite get him unless it was in the space of building a app for Android, you know. And you don't really even need to know that per se, Sakenya, because Jonathan kind of has an overall view of the people who are coming in, and like over time he learns what they're kind of good at. So you have to really approach it as a phase step, and I think that's one of the things that we weren't looking at. Like I told when Borzu mentioned, he was like, "Yeah, it's just a WordPress site. You just get one of my designers, developers to go up and add it, and be done in like an hour." And I tried to tell him, I'm like, look, doesn't work that way. Like, I get it, man. Like, you think that you want it to take an hour, but anyone worth their salt knows it's a tedious process, and sometimes you need multiple people to do it. I'll just be real. I heard it from Borzu dozens of times that it can be done in an hour. I said, why don't you have your guy do it? Even put it on the table. I'm like, I know how you do, man. Your guys make $100 an hour. Tell your dudes they got 2 hours, and I'm gonna toss them $200 to get the freaking thing done. Did it ever get done? No, it didn't. So the whole thing is like we have the people, but it might take multiple roles. And to Kenya, as you sort of go through this process and get more detailed in it, you'll start to see even yourself. Like think of it as a thing. Like even Jonathan. Jonathan didn't know anything about being a COO, but he learned just from the school of hard knocks. So we got the people. That's the thing that I love. We got the people, and they love fucking being there. So really, our own task is to figure out what people work on. And it's really that simple. And that's not a painful task to me. I think it's a pretty cool task, man. We got some really cool people in the group. But for now, I'd say if there's something that needs to be designed, like if there's a problem with design, then the next person to talk to would be Tim. The first thing Tim's going to ask is, what don't you like about it? And somebody's got to be able to answer those questions.
Yeah, I feel you. I just think that it's not even just think that. I think that we want to just like I didn't think the website looked bad. It was a little
Oh
basic.
man, what I loved about it was on mobile it looked perfect. And in this 2016 day and age, they call it mobile first development. If your site only looks good on a mobile device, guess what? You won half of your freaking market. I'd
Yeah.
say even more. The vast majority of people who go on this stuff, they're on their freaking mobile devices. That's why I was like, don't judge the thing looking at like people were seeing it look what it looked like on the desktop. I'm looking at it on my iPhone just like this is heaven to me. Because guess what? It's better than a blank screen. It's better than a site not found. What's your thoughts, Virginia?
I'm Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I think that it's good for what it is. I just want to know, whatever, the website developer or whatever the politically correct term for webmaster is. Um, like, okay, what's the next steps? Like, who's gonna link it to the Instagram page? Like,
Link
who's
it
gonna?
to the okay, nice. So while keep that list in your head. Not to cut you off, Sakine, but I want to make sure Jonathan's sitting down in front of something he can write with. Because what you're specifying now, Sakine, we shouldn't just let it as an idea out of your head. We want to document and iterate these things as tasks because now you're talking about things that are actionable items. Now we can associate people to these actionable items. Now watch how fast that fucking thing gets done. Rinse and repeat every damn week. You
Yeah,
see what I mean?
because like I'm
That's how we move forward, brother. Correct me if I'm. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying because I'm looking at our Instagram page now, and like we still don't have anything up here.
And we did that intentionally. And you know what? I think it's this is what my mentor calls precious syndrome. You want to have everything be perfect, and what winds up happening is you have an unfinished Picasso when the world could have just used a finished stick figure.
Yeah,
There is nothing more fulfilling than to be able to show someone something that you did.
yeah. I mean, like so. I mean, I remember like on the Insta content page, I think Evan said, "There goes that Slack commercial again." Sorry. Um, I thought like he was just gonna post a whole bunch of post the pics for the kicks. That's the last thing I saw on the Insta content thread.
Post, what was it, a post or was it? I don't understand what's the context, and that's what we use the Slack channels for. Is it Instagram, the website?
Is I thought the Insta content page was for Instagram content.
That's what I thought too. Jonathan has the answer to that because he sweeps the rooms.
So like he said, last thing in there, Evan was looking for the login credentials, and it said Jonathan said yesterday he should have them.
Yeah, he already has all the logins and all that. I privately messaged them.
And see, what we want to do is we have to respect the fact that all of us have jobs. You know what I mean? And we all have things that we need to do. And just like from day to day, you know, we want to not look at it. Or what is it? Like my mentor told me, is like situations are fuck ups. People aren't fuck ups. I generally give people the benefit of the doubt that they mean well. They just try to do too much within a 24-hour period. So we want to like have empathy for them and like put them them and ourselves in a situation of the least amount of doubt. So how can we do that? Maybe Evan has the content and he has full intent of putting that up, but that man is busy just like all of us are. Then we, instead of approaching Evan and like letting feelings build up, like that's that fuckboy shit. I don't like that stuff. You approach someone more of a like, okay, so what can you offload onto me to pass the baton to me, so we can find somebody that can help push the ball even forward, so you can kick back and put your hands behind your head. But you have to have a vision yourself of what that is that you want to put out into the world, because then that is what a person can be accountable for. And I think that's what Sakine is looking for as well, is how do we be accountable for things. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I definitely understand the busy thing. I mean, because I know I got like coaching, I got coaching team, so I got a lot of stuff going on. But I mean, I think that's one of the things with. I mean, I know that it seems like it's gonna be like us three on these calls, but like, and that's why I was like the other founders. I'm sure that like you and Jonathan are in contact with them, but like I'm not. So like when it comes down to like what Evan says he's gonna post the thing, he's oh yeah, like I'll get to it next week if we were on the call together. But like his job and everything doesn't allow him to get on these calls. So like we're really never like in full cohesion.
So I'll tell you what, the best thing we can do is, and I'm learning myself, work with me, fellas, is to keep our founders' calls to a minimum, really express what needs to be done, state who can help and where they can help, see where there are any bottlenecks, get off the call as fast as possible, and put it out there into the ether. And the founders channel would be like, hey guys, look, all you have to do is just watch the video and catch up and give us your feedback. We tried to make it as short as possible so you can get so you can get the information in. And guess what? It's a difference between night and day. So like with Lizzie, Lizzie is now working half time on my day jobs project. Um, she also works 50 hours a week. So puts in hours in the morning, like 1 or 2, an hour during lunch, and like 2 hours when she gets home at night because that girl's hungry because she just got engaged a few months ago and they just closed on a house. You see what I'm saying, Sakenya?
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's on that grind time right now, And what she does is we record every single hangout and meetup like we do here, but the difference is Lizzie will actually go through and consume them. Now, some of them will be extra long, probably because I was on the line. And then she just asked, "Hey, can you cut it down a little bit? Because when I'm watching them, I want to like really get through it and see where I can contribute. And the longer they are, the less they make me want to watch it." And she was just being totally honest. And we started doing that, and it went from the difference where I never ever talked to Lizzie to Lizzie's giving her feedback, and the entire team at my day job feels like she's contributing to the entire thing as it's moving along. Lizzie didn't change anything about what she was doing. You see what I'm saying, Takia?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we want that from them, then how can we sort of have empathy for them and make their life more pleasant? It could be just like shortening up the dev calls, getting the focus, and I guarantee you that's about to start happening because it's us on the phone. And plus, now that we actually have a business now, you can even tell, man. Ever since we got that business license and all of that, like our wheels started moving faster, even if it was just a little bit more of a gear. And I'm sure you could even notice that, Sakirya.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely feeling like the vision and like the doing stuff.
What'd you say?
No, I'm just saying, like, I definitely see the vision. So definitely feel we're moving. I just want to make sure we keep it up and make sure that all of us, like, since there's 6 of us now, that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
And like, no shade. Like, I know that like everybody got stuff to do, and like, but like, I'm not like I feel like you guys are more on the same page with Evan and Mario and like the other and like who am I missing?
Oh, Evan, Mario, and Zach.
And Zach. Like,
Yeah, but see, and you're right. You're right. You don't have any input as well. Like certain things, like, and I think we should all reach out to them. Maybe even in the founders channel too, because it's that serious. Zach, for the past month, I'd say, has been going through a lot of turmoil, and it's because he's been having to stay every day, daily, go to the hospital for his grandfather. He didn't want to quite put it out just yet, but a day ago, his grandfather passed away.
oh damn, okay.
Yeah, but you didn't know that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but also keep in mind too, you don't know what you don't know. These calls are the pretty much the most that I talk to any of the founders. So Jonathan actually talks to people the most out of all of us. Um, but Jonathan, I'd say have the empathy to understand that. So Kenya has some requests that he'd like to as well, and we treat him just like we treat ourselves, and or anybody should, and to make sure that the other founders he's speaking of who are not on the call, make sure that you voice that there's a concern with the ones who are on the call as well. And just to put that out there, because sometimes you just don't know, and humans get into bad habits so easy, man. I'm guilty of it myself. Like sometimes you just need somebody to kind of like smack you real quick and be like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize I was doing that."
Yeah, like, honestly, like, it is what it is. I'm just saying that if I'd rather have less of these like maybe not weekly, if
Yeah,
it's just be the 3 of us.
got it,
Like maybe if we do like a monthly recap that we can get everybody together.
got it.
And if we want to chop it up, we can always chop it up.
Absolutely, and you're right about that too. Now that said, if we do that, then we definitely have to like make sure that we have our cadences. So Jonathan would even be really stringent on it because it's easier than for a ship to get off course. But I don't think I think that we have the capability to pretty much abide by any schedule. I think if anything, Sakenya, the path is easier for us moving forward and stuff. Um, for various reasons. But we'll see that. We still have to plan some things out. But always remember too, Sakenya, is that now that we are incorporated, we now have a mouth to feed, which is our business pretty much. And we can use that as an excuse. I use excuse in a good word, like how Sakenya can use, say, oh, it's my son's birthday as a valid excuse, and it is. And we can use our business the same way to say, look, guys, love you to death. However, we got a business to run here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't grow up with any dysfunctions because I wanted to help. I want that business to buy me a house by my old age, not for, you know, you understand what I'm saying, Zakiya?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I've been in many situations where I didn't understand and someone said, no, it don't have nothing to do with you, homie. It's just because I got a business to run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with you, man. I mean, I think that, yeah, if we can just get, I just feel if we can get everybody together, it will be a better look.
Well, it will be. And also keep in mind, too, Zakiya, like, nothing changes, man. The same off-sites that we have and all of that, like, Evan's still about and Zach's still about, and it's the same people. I mean, and we'll still be going over the Empire. Like, nothing changes in that regard. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, Mario is coming around much like it's his birthday today, today or yesterday, as a matter of fact. So, shit. I challenge all of us to be accountable for ourselves. Like, why is this Shaquille sitting there saying like, well, shit, man, Jonathan, like, let me try to find Mario's number or somebody's number and let me just give them a call or something like that because they always answer their phones. Hey, man, yo, it's such and such from Slack, yo, what's good? Just want to call, say what's up. Like, that's really where it goes down. You know what I mean? Not just the DMs.
Yeah, I feel you.
And shoot, like coming up in the future, if you feel like, hey, man, look, I think it's time for me to bust up into New York, got to do that. As long as you give us 30 days in advance, Kenya, that is a valid expense that Kenya can put down on the books.
Hey, that works for me. I mean, things are like if we can, whenever everybody can get together. I mean, I still would love to have like a true founders meeting that like we can all like sit down and like chop it up. I mean, like what Noel and I just did last time I was up there.
Okay. Well, you know what? Like, let's keep expressing that. You hear the request, Jonathan, and I think that's an operational thing. The squeaky wheel gets oil, Jonathan. And Jonathan's learning that too. Is that sometimes you have to multiple times say things to people, but they'll get it, and at some point, if they feel like sometimes Zach will respond to my messages, and I'll call him out. I'll be like, "Yo, this is passive aggressive, right, man?" And he was like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Yo, when you say you'll do something and you don't respond to somebody or something like that, it's called passive aggressive behavior, man. Like, I'm not sitting there throwing shade at you. I'm just telling you what the textbook says." And he went. And next thing you know, he was doing some research on what passive aggressive behavior was, and then he was like, "Holy fuck! I've been doing this my whole life." Thanks, man. I didn't even realize. What I mean, Sakenya? So, the cool thing is we can all be honest with each other and shoot, like, throw it out there. Be like, hey, guys, look, in the next 60 days, in the next 3 months even, how about in Q2, in Q3, what's the, you think you got 2 hours out of your life? Like, shit, throw shade at the motherfuckers, man. We're family here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
man.
guarantee you things will get done, especially because Jonathan learned how to be nice with the Ginsu knife.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, why don't we?
All right.
Why
Well,
don't we go over what our things
what
are?
MIAs are, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna keep going into the channel, seeing what's,
Yeah.
making sure
Hats off to that, Jonathan. Like, you've done more work in improving Slack in the past week. I got to give him that because I'm part of all the channels, and Sakenya really isn't. Jonathan has gone through diligently on a daily basis, like cleaning up the channels, sweeping out whatever's just kind of stale and stagnant information, reaching out to people saying, "Hey guys, what's the next thing here? What's going on?" Him doing that in the Shouts channel got us a potential opportunity to get some more work done to build another app. Like just from doing that, that's a big difference between last week. So hats off to Jonathan there. I just wanted to make sure that you got a shout out for that, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, thank you for sure. Yeah, so I've just been going through the channels, talking to people. One thing that I need to do is definitely have, I mean, people stop going to Rashawn first and coming to me, because Rashawn, he's busy. He has to, pay everybody, and he's the one putting all his time and cash into this as well. So I have to make sure that nobody's bothering Rashawn. So I mean,
Except the founders. Except the founders. You got me 24/7, homie.
All right, man.
You know that.
yeah, it's Sakania though. But like, if it's not like, if it's not something you feel like Rashawn doesn't need to answer to, I mean, just hit me up. All right, we gotta give Rashawn as much time as he needs.
Yeah, because I want to be this thing successful, and honestly, Sakania, like, I've chosen this lifestyle, man, because I will invest anything I have into the people around me, no matter what. And if there's anything, if you will question and ask if this the right thing or the right thing that I should be doing with my time, just know you at least, I can't answer that question for you personally, but just know that you at least got someone on the team that is that much into it. And as far as us being successful, like longevity, man, like I hope Kenya till like when we all just like straight gray, can't even walk straight, like we on some big ass boat somewhere with all the families and all, and like that, like, and that doesn't mean does that mean a boat's happiness? No, that just means we have access to said things. You know what I'm saying, Kenya?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's the long run side of things, and so that's good there. Is there anything else that we want to sort of
well, what do we need to do for next week?
Well, I need to finish the profile side of things because I stated that that's what my task was. There's a Trello card in there for it, and one more talking with Noel should have that good to go, and that's it for my and what I'd like to. But that just brings us up to this week. What I'd like to do personally next myself. Well, that's a great question. I guess do we? Well, there's a lot of things that we could be doing here now. After someone creates a profile, I guess what is the most valuable thing that Sneakyhead could be? You know what? I'm gonna punt my personal task on what I'd like to do for the week to being support for whatever the two things are that you all would like to do for the week. For one, because I cannot readily think of one right now, because there's too many, and I need a filter, and I'm relying on that with you two guys. That's the fastest way to have me not be distracted. So, what about you, Sakenya and Jonathan?
I don't know, maybe
You got the magic scepter, homeboy. Like you just wave it, and watch shit happen.
I mean, I guess like really I guess like I'll talk to Noel about see maybe we can get that Instagram integration.
Nice. Into the Slack channel?
I don't, I was thinking about the website, but how can you do that with the
Yes.
integrate Slack and Instagram, and what would that look like?
Yes, you can integrate. You mean Slack and Instagram? First,
Yeah.
there's an Instagram integration for Slack. You can do it. You tweet out. You can have it two ways. You can have it either send out messages via Instagram, or when people get messages from different sites you might watch, have them filter into a channel. Think about that for something like, oh, I don't know, Feed or something like that, where we just take the accounts that we care about, filter those into a Slack channel or something. I think that that's valuable only if a lot of people ask for it or we see that we're just doing the same thing manually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yes, can be done. And if that's something you want to wave the scepter for, then Jonathan can create a Trello card for it and make sure that it's linked off in the founder's channel so you can bookmark a link to check its progress.
Yeah, I mean, I think like just the basic is integrate the. I mean, integrate Instagram to the WordPress site, and then depending on what it looks like for Slack. I mean, I think that can be like the next steps.
Right. So right now we have a link to Twitter and Instagram from the WordPress site. Do you feel we need to actually have a feed? That and you could probably can't check it now. That's why I loved it so much. I was like, it looks like shit, but damn, it's fucking functional.
I mean, I don't know. I think that we can definitely do. Um, yeah. Why not? Why can't we do the feed?
Yep.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, there you go. That's another task there, Jonathan.
Yeah, what's up? Hold on. Yeah, so I just well, for me, it's just basically just helping me out in the channels, making sure things are, like I don't want things just to stay stale or anything.
Okay.
Um, Maybe making sure like we're just every time there's an opportunity, I'm gonna jump on it all, obviously. But once there's that opportunity, maybe just like you backing me, which you always do anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just right now. I just want to make sure we're just every single opportunity that is coming our way that we're taking hold of it. We're not
Absolutely.
just letting things just slide and staying stagnant. That's one thing that we're not supposed to be doing. So
Yeah, because then stagnancy will have you feel indifference, and you can hate something, but when you feel indifferent about it, it's a wrap.
yeah, that's for sure. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. And just like if there's anything in here, well, what else? Like I'm just going through all the stuff that's the website. I guess like when do you like think that's gonna be just like fully ready?
Well, that's the
Months.
thing is that we want to get out of our head what the word done because that doesn't
Oh,
exist in web development. What we want to do is have iterations and say what's the very next thing we can do to improve this thing. That
Exactly.
is why that was what Noel and I's intent was from the giddy up in putting up that WordPress site the way it was. Having content editing, I totally understand, but saying that it doesn't look like the template. I don't buy that because if you go to the template, there's like 10 posts in it, about 30 images in it, and things like that. So now, if we take our task of having blog posts, say we have 2 or 3 blog posts, our site would never look like that template to begin with because we don't have 30 images and we don't have 10 blog posts. It's the content, and Tim mentioned it, and I'm totally agreeing with Tim. The content is what expands, and then the design wraps around the content, not the other way around. However, from what Borzu's used to and such with his design and development, it is that way. You hire some designer, and then you have some writer just write in the holes. And it's like the web isn't really like that anymore. Like people aren't buying it anymore. Like they want like real content, and it doesn't matter if the site's quite as bland as long as you can get them in and out of the content as fast as possible. So we like little things I saw like the footer, if you looked at it on desktop, was pushed all the way up, and it was because there were a bunch of posts and things like that. That's the difference. We can force it to stick to the bottom of the screen, but that's the things we should be looking at instead of saying like, why does the page look so shitty? Start having actionable tasks like move the footer to the bottom of the screen, put an Instagram feed over there on the right side. Let's try that out. If it
yeah,
sucks,
which was I was discussing that with Sakinia like at the start. Like, yeah, instead of criticizing or just saying all these things are bad, how about coming up with the solution and then we just implement that and make whatever the product is better.
Exactly.
absolutely. and we do that with Sensible, man, and we're under review from the SEC. So, that whole precious mentality, which is what one of my mentors said. He was like, when you're precious, you want everything to be perfect before you get it out there. What winds up happening is you start having a paralysis from overanalysis. So if you hear that term, what does that mean to you, Sakinya? Paralysis from overanalysis.
I mean, it's pretty much what we've been doing for the past, close to the past year. I mean, like, we're like trying to get things perfect and nothing is happening.
Exactly. So I have to actually apologize to you as well, Sakinya, because I kind of threw you under the bus a little. And what I mean by throw you under the bus a little, not directly, but indirectly. Maybe I pushed the button a little too fast. I just was like, put it up, let's go. And you did it, which is hats off to you because that means you pulled the trigger. Sometimes you pull the trigger and you hit the wrong target, but I am more appreciative that you pulled the trigger because it feels good to fucking do it. And I more so wanted the site up because that was something that we discussed on the conference call. Remember?
Yeah.
More so than it was, is it perfect or not? However, when you don't join conference calls, you don't hear what the goals are for the following week. Then when that movement starts happening, it's more like believe half of what you hear and none of what you see, Sakinya Welch. It's more of a, oh shit, the train's taking off and I'm not on it. What the fuck's going on? Stop the train. But guess what? We got a business to run.
Yeah.
Is that so? Hopefully you accept that apology. Oh boy.
No, we good, man.
So I think we're good there. Do we at least have some tasks, Jonathan?
All right. Let's
We
see.
should. So I think Sakinya, that was a couple that he specified on his list. Is there any other ones you thought of, Sakinya?
No, I mean, I think I think we're good. I mean, just take I'd rather just take like one or two baby steps instead of like making this big whole list that we're trying to
Absolutely.
struggle to get done.
Absolutely, man. I love it. You're absolutely right. Um, where is it? 1 second here. Well, not that, not that. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Um, let's see here. Sakinya.
Yeah.
Well, so you have, I know this one would be a little bit longer, but do you have 10 minutes? Do you have of your life? 10, 12 minutes?
Yeah. Well, not right now, but I can definitely a little bit later on tonight.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you my mentor, Tom, his ride again. And, like before, Chris was like, I don't know why we're listening to this, and that's for his business and all of that. But if you listen to it from 2 months later, you will see that everything that Tom specified is exactly what's playing out. And he was like, you don't have to like it, but you got to respect what I'm happening. And why you should listen to me is because I started a business from my living room, just like you all, and now it's a successful business worth $375 million. And I don't give a fuck what business model you have. These are business rules, has nothing to do with your product or service. It has to do with the people you found things with.
Yeah, I remember.
So I'm going to drop it in the founders chat again. And if you don't mind, including yourself, Jonathan, and I'm going to listen to it again. And just go through it and see how the world different from when we listened to it first to the time that we listen to it now. Is that okay with you, homeboy?
Yeah.
And that's all I got. So, what did we learn here? That's we want to do that. What did you learn, Sakenya? Why don't you go there?
I mean, it feels. I mean, like I learned like the train keeps moving. I mean, like that. I mean, just know that like you all have conversations with some of the other founders and like knowing there's a like what's that you all know what's going on with them. So like right because before I was like okay it's like it's really like the three of us and then like
Right. And you
then
know what, Sakenya? Actions speak louder than words. And if it plays out to be that, then that's what it will be, because we have a business to run. Because we got 50 other people we got to deal with, man. You know what I mean? Already.
and like because I'm like yo there's people that wanna make moves. I mean like I remember the first meeting Noel was like yo how can I be down, how can I get into how can I like be a part of this.
Absolutely.
Like I'd rather like bring him in and be new with like he's gonna be hungry and ready to make things move than like some people that's just gonna sit around and like just wait or like be all negative.
Absolutely. So you know what? And I just want to keep in mind to you too. Who knows, man? That's the point of having an LLC, is because you can change business structures very easily. So that said, I just want to throw that out there. That fucking 6 months ago, Noel told me, he said, I want to work on something where I can have some ownership in it. And I told him straight up, I was like, I don't quite know yet how that works with the founders. So what we can do though is we can put you on projects that are new enough that you can take percentages out of. That's why I set up with him and I set up with him and Jamel to do the app, because that's Jamel's idea and that's also Noel's idea, and they both are hungry to start working on the app and do it. So then when we have people that say, hell no, we're not going to do that, I'm like, well, we're in a little bit of a bind, because I promised the founders that all they would have to really do is sit back and think. And yeah, it's going to take a while for a bunch of people to come on board to help actually do the stuff, but now we're here. So Noel and Jamel, they're like working and, bouncing ideas back and forth like they're getting shit done during the week. They don't need people to tell them on a once a week basis, nah, that shit you guys worked on, that's bullshit. Like, we're not even thinking about that. That shit is garbage. That takes the steam out of people's engines.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's on deck too. I'm just throwing that out there. Noel, you're right. He is a hungry one. So we might want to look at that, because if somebody's hungry and wants to invest their time into something, we should let them.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, this is the second like thing that he's done for Sneakyhead that like got shut down. I mean, the app and now the website.
Right. I mean, there ain't but so many of those that people will go through.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there, so Kenya. It's good. I'm glad that you're seeing as well too that nothing changes. If anything, we're kicking into a faster gear.
Yeah.
And I like it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. I definitely think like all those little tis for tats, like whatever conversation we were having before, those are going to be long gone, and we just focus on what we need to focus on.
Sweet. And what I learned is I learned that still to this day, even though labels, titles, things like that change, that as long as you keep yourself around the right people, that nothing really changes, because it's all on how people make you feel at the end of the day, and that's in any relationship. And I'm just happy to be here, man. Like, I owe so much to you guys for sure, because you do not have to be here, but you choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm good, guys. I'm good. I mean, good call.
I'll tell you, Sakina, I told you already, Sakina, you just, as long as you give the 30 days. So, and I would like to be there when you're there so we can collaborate on that. But if you don't move on it, then, hey, that's you snooze, you lose, chump.
Hey, I mean, like, dude, I mean, I'm always down for a trip to New York, but I mean, Jonathan's in Paris, so I mean, I want to come when everybody's going to be here. So
Got it. But also do realize too, there are times that you may need to come. I do foresee you coming to New York more frequently than Jonathan would. I mean, if it was up to me, Jonathan would be here every single month. Let's say if Jonathan comes here every quarter or twice a year, I still see you coming maybe every other month or something like that, which would probably make you a few times more than Jonathan in a year. So there's going to be times that you come up here and Jonathan's not here. And guess what? Nothing else changes because what did Ivan say that we need to do when I get back from the West Coast that he wanted to do, Jonathan?
Oh, what'd you say?
What did Ivan say that when I get back from the West Coast he wanted to make sure I
Oh,
reached out
link
to
up.
everybody?
Yeah, y'all link up for sure.
Exactly, man. The same thing. So, tentatively, Ivan's supposed to be coming to New York. By the way, he's got on the low. This is a Founders Channel talk. But what's that product Ivan's got coming out now? Well, we got a product releasing out of Sneakyhead Group.
Oh, he got a bag coming out.
Did
Bag
you,
line.
did you know that's a Kenya?
A bag line.
Yeah.
What the sneaker bag where like it's like
He didn't dive in too deep on the details. All he said that he had a bag line coming out and just laced one off to Rashawn.
And it is that, and you know what I'm saying. And it's like, well, that's something we're proud of too, as well, because the trick is with these uber wealthy dudes and all of that stuff. Most of what they do, they don't do it by themselves. It's what their network is producing. You think when Kanye sitting there like, we got a shoe coming out, we got album coming out, we got clothesline coming out, we got tours all over the world and all that. You think that's Kanye West only? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a team of all types of different. Like look at Donda and look how what's that guy who makes Ben Trill?
I don't even know. I forgot his name.
Exactly. What's that dude that make Ben Trill?
I'll check it out.
The guy who makes Ben Trill. What's that? Virgil.
Oh, Virgil Abloh. Fuck, yo, and I be kicking it with him all the time. It's ridiculous. How did
Yeah,
I remember him?
Virgil Abloh. He's got his own line. He's got his own clothes. He's got his
Yeah,
own
he's mad
everything.
chill too, dude. Like he be out in Paris all the time. I be around them dudes, yo. He's mad chill.
Exactly, and he's on Kanye's team deep, just like Taz Arnold.
He does
Like
All Flight too, by the way.
absolutely. And I bet you what, the minute the Ventril cap come out, Kanye gonna be like, "Yo, look what we produced."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got that bag coming out. So Kenya, and it ain't no pipe dream. Like this joint's already in manufacturing as we speak. Samples already went back.
oh wow. So like what's he want us to do with it?
He doesn't want us to do anything with it. It's just something that we can be proud of, and and if your team has products, how do you monetize it? It's a monetization game, my brother.
True. I'm with you.
Because Sneaker Shouts, they in it for life, man. They're like whatever ideas that we can collaborate and come up with. He's like, y'all straight up like, let's get these percentages. You know what I mean? And the dude's already pushing numbers, like that whole thing. Like we don't know what we're gonna do and where do we make. I never buy that, especially when we got the team that we got. Jonathan, what about you? What did you learn? We can wrap that up.
Hmm. Well, I mean, basically the same things that Kenny learned. I mean, the train doesn't stop. I mean, we're still gonna be boarding it every fuck like we'll be on it every freaking day, like until we reach the end goal. And just because a few people, had to bounce and just wasn't fully with the vision, it's okay though. I mean, we're also on the same page and we're all gonna succeed. I mean, I still have the same fire I had from the start when you told me about Sneakyhead, so that's not gonna change. And I'm gonna make sure that we keep heading in the right direction and we keep reaching all our goals.
Absolutely, man. That's what it is. No matter what project, hey fellas, look, no matter what project I work on within my lifetime and period, like you all are my counsel. Like, if there's any food that's extra sitting around, I'm like, yo, let's feast. Because that's what it's about. That's further than sneakers, man, for sure. Shoot, I hope we be swapping revenue and houses and Bitcoin and boats in the future, man.
That's what's up.
That's my word too on my father's grave.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we have our MIAs for next week.
Yep.
Yeah, we just gotta be on it, guys. Just make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Well, thanks so much for your time. Much appreciated. I think we're all on the same page. How do you feel, Kenya?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome, man. Thanks a
All
lot.
right.
All
All
right,
right, guys. Peace.
Peace.